Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Be sure to subscribe and like this video so that I can keep this channel moving along and building the best content for you to utilize. Today we're going to work with the stretches to do after you do a push day at the gym. So push day would be the pec muscles, the shoulder, so the medial and anterior, as well as triceps. So we'll work towards those three major muscle groups. So the first stretch I usually like to do after a push is just get into these pec muscles here, the pec fibers. I lay down on the floor. You can do this against a wall or if you've got a bar or a matrix system at the gym. Ideally, we want to be just working between a few different ranges of motion of this pec muscle. So I will do a stretch with the arm here and then just change it whilst I'm laying on the floor. So that'll get into all these fibers that attach in and around this area of the chest. So if we start with the right arm, I lay down. That right arm, you can start at a T shape, so out to the side, turn away from the arm. The left hand is going to be able to push into the floor, and you just slowly roll over onto that right hip. So if you need something underneath the head, you can rest it on the ground, but you can always put, say, that spare hand there or something else. Sometimes a block is good. So holding this shape, you're just breathing deep, especially into this right side of the rib cage. This will help stretch as well from the inside out. So my top left leg is going back as well. That just helps pull my body into a rotation as well. I've been here for quite some time, so I'm going to come out of it gently and then just change the position of the arm. I'm moving it up. My palm is flat to the floor for now. We roll back into it and we're just breathing. So I'm coming out of this one now and I'm going to bend the elbow. So once I'm flat, I'm going to bend the elbow like an L shape, but it doesn't have to be a complete L. And I'm going to try to go in a little bit deeper. This can get into the pec minor fibers. Yeah, you might feel it closer towards that shoulder, the joint itself. And if you get into it and you feel like you can change the position of the arm, you might be able to roll out, then roll back in. Again, the head can be down to the ground. Just make sure you're breathing nice and slow. Changing that position. And again, the idea is also to really feel where the stretch is moving in. Is it in the front of the chest? Is it higher across the shoulder joint? Just see subtle movements I'm making of the elbow slightly lifted higher or lower along the floor. It's resting on the ground, but I can feel it pull gently into the different fibers of the pec muscles. And then just gently rolling out of there. Even come up onto your elbows. Although we're bending the body backwards, we're shortening the fibers of the back line of the body, the posterior chain. It's a nice stretch to get through the front chain as well. Again, I just take some nice deep breaths here. Even just changing that position of the head. Feel how that feels in the body. Just notice how moving this head will just stretch different parts of the neck. Pushing the elbows deeper will also even get those shoulders pulling away a little bit more. And then gently coming down. Hands under shoulders, just push back up to hands and knees and do a real gentle child's pose or some form of forward flexion of the spine. Head coming forward. Again, I'm feeling just a few niggles in my neck. I'm going to move it around. You hit a shoulder even in this position. Another movement we can do is just dips and domes where you push into the ground. Shoulders will drop down away from your body. It's called a protraction. And then you dip the spine and look up and you let the shoulders retract back. And you can do what I call shoulder push-ups, where these shoulders pushing down, pulling back, protracting, retracting, and even just some slight movements of the hips left to right, like you're wagging your tail. And this takes care of a lot of the core part of the body and around the torso. Even when we're doing a push motion, pushing away this way or upwards, these motions, these movements will obviously work to contract other parts of the body. Sometimes we overuse some of the core, sometimes we squeeze the glutes and lift up as we're pushing away. And in essence, we're trying to keep the body, the torso, as flat as we can without trying to engage and recruit other areas of the body just to get that push motion. So we'll do the other arm, left arm. So laying down like we did before, palm out to the side, have it flat. Laying there, roll into it. If you need to come down, I start with a T position, feeling that through across the shoulder, sort of less pec fibers at the moment. Everyone's body will be different, everyone's joints are different, so you may feel it there. I come forward, I take the hand a bit higher, palm still flat, roll back into it. Breathing, maybe the head drops down if you need, or support that head. So this is still anterior shoulder for me with a bit of the pec fibers down, sort of in across the sternum level. Come forward, arm a little higher. Take some breath. Again, that top leg, maybe take it back behind, and that will take advantage of even giving a bit of a hip flexor stretch for you. There's a twist action as well. Come forward, bend the elbow. So the fingers still face forward, elbows bent. Roll back into it. See where the majority of the stretch is felt for you. Again, this is usually a little bit more pec minor, closer to the shoulder joint itself, but I'm still feeling it work into and across those pec fibers. Again, changing that position of the arm. It's also getting into my deltoid as well. Keep breathing. The breath is probably the most underused system of the body that we can consciously control. So even just breathing here helps to soften and relax these muscles that we've engaged. Again, we're trying to feel through it, be conscious and aware as you move into these shapes and stretches. And just come down and forward. Again, sitting back up, you can do the same this side, whether you do some dips and domes, or sit back to heels, let the body come forward into a child's pose. And even if the head is sort of dangling forward and not touching the floor, you can move it slightly. The body is going to traction the head and the neck, just purely from gravity. Come back to hands and knees, wiggle about. So one shoulder pushes forward, other shoulder pushes forward. And just sitting comfortably, either heels, if you have a cushion, you might even have a cushion underneath, so you've got a bit of space between the heels and the glutes, or you can sit in a chair, or you can even stand to do this one. Triceps. So the left arm, I work as a mirror, left arm lifted up. Bend the elbow and try to place the palm on the body somewhere, whether it's the neck or lower down. The idea is we want to get the elbow to close as much as we can. When the elbow closes and you take the elbow up, it's going to start to stretch down this tricep area. If it's possible, you can come up and grab that elbow there, pulling it down. Try to close the elbow a little bit more. So you're squeezing that elbow closed. I also like to add a little bit of a side bend at the same time. And again, that can just give you a nice little stretch down the lats, down the side body. Breathing, again, breathing is a key. As you stretch, let the breath go nice and deep and slow. Make sure the body's relaxed and you're not forcing the breath. Although I'm not holding the elbow, if you do grab it and try to close that elbow joint, leaning, I'm increasing that stretch down the triceps. You can also, if you want, explore a little bit of movement in this position. So if I bring the elbow forward, let the body flex, the spine flex, inhale, elbow lifts back up, and even a little arch. So just taking that elbow back, pulling it forward, taking it up and back. And I'm also crossing the body as well. All this is going to work into just stretching down that side body. Release the arm, roll it about, move it around. Other side. So the right arm now comes up and over the head. Maybe the palm can rest behind the neck, behind the shoulder blades. Grabbing the top elbow if that feels appropriate. Maybe leaning a little bit away, so increasing that stretch. You may be able to do it with just the hand there. Holding the elbow will just enable these tissues to lengthen, tricep tissues. And like we did before, maybe the body flexes forward, elbow comes forward, inhale, arch slightly in the spine, take the elbow back, bring it forward, flexing, lift it up. You're going to feel that all through different parts of the side body as well. And you can even wiggle about, just exploring range of motion as you stretch. Release that, roll the shoulders, even turn the head because I can start to feel a bit of tension building there. Tilt the ear. Yeah, awesome. Now we're going to work with just clasping the hands behind the back, whether you grab one hand in the other or interlace fingers. Lift the chest, so your sternum's lifting, and then I want you to pull the shoulders back and down. The side profile would be interlacing, lift the sternum, pull those shoulders back, retracting them back. You may then be able to try to get the hands away from the body, pulling the hands. Maybe you're arching, even gently flexing. So here, some of you will feel a stretch through a little bit of anterior of the shoulder, the deltoid. If you're standing, you may even be able to fold forward with the feet apart, arms lift up. I like to do it even just kneeling as I am. Coming forward with the head, the forehead may be able to rest down, though, lift those arms up more. And then explore lifting the head back and just working my way back up. Again, I'm going to feel a nice deep movement and stretch through the tissues of the front line. Roll those shoulders. That standing variation would have the feet nice and wide apart, hands clasped, and folding through here. Let the head be heavy, arms sweeping up and over. And if you feel like mobilizing, knees bending over 1 foot at a time, head can be heavy. All this just adds to your daily movement and mobility patterns and enables your body to keep moving. Mobility. We need to move. We need to strengthen, we need to stretch, and we need to mobilize. Do some helicopter swings here. So there's just a few of the stretches you can do post a push workout. Give me some feedback in the comments section below. If you have any questions, ask away. Whenever you contract the body, when you contract muscles, those muscles then need to lengthen and stretch. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you soon.